libraries, school districts, and in elections. And I'm just going to real quickly run through these, talking about why these were the important areas. They're obviously the foundation of local government, and where they are in the Indiana General Assembly. You know, most frequently in your civics classes, you hear that there are two houses, the bill passes the House, goes to the Senate, and the governor signs it. It's a little more complicated than that. And when the news media says, oh, you're halfway through and you have all of these changes, what are you going to do? We say, no, we're only a third of the way through. Because what your civics books don't tell you is there's a conference committee. And that's where literally everything happens. So we kept the bills alive through one House, through formidable opposition. We are hopeful in the second House, and two of your own state legislators had Representative Giaquinta and Moses proposed a bill on county government, so we truly have bipartisan support in both houses. As Governor Kernan said, the purpose was to make government more understandable, more accountable, to provide better services, to make it more efficient and effective. And what we have done between the report and now is tried to figure out the timing for the implementation. I keep hearing there's no implementation process, but there sure is, and I want to talk a little bit about that as we go quickly again through the bills. One of the most important bills is the county bill. You know, a basic premise of American democracy is that we have three separate units of government, the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch, and each of those serve as a counterbalance to the other, so that no one of them can get too important. The only entity of government we have seen that doesn't have that basic foundation is county government. And in county government you have the county commissioners and the county council, but the county council is not really the legislative branch. It only has some fiscal responsibilities. Those are very important. But it is the three county commissioners which have the legislative and executive responsibilities. We think that needs to be changed because it's very confusing to me and to everybody else, I think. So the recommendation was to have a single county executive, which was elected, and an expanded county council, which would have full legislative responsibilities. Now, that bill is Senate Bill number 506. It is through the Senate, and the changes that the Senate made were to allow three choices for county commissioners. The county commissioners would have to, by a certain date, they would have to determine whether they wanted to go to a single county executive full legislative model, whether they would opt for a model which would consist of 5 county supervisors, which would have both legislative and executive responsibilities, or whether they would stay with the status quo. If they choose the status quo, that goes to a referendum, and in the referendum, for some odd reason, the voters have a choice between the status quo and the 5-member Board of Supervisors, which doesn't quite make sense, but logic is not necessarily an important part of the legislative process. The next bill is townships, and that's Senate Bill 512. Now, you know from your papers, township lines were drawn in the late 18th century. They were all pretty equal. They were drawn to fit a culture and technology and a population base that is no longer true today. We have made changes in the last 200 years, and we all know that we have made changes in just about everything but townships.